Coming up, you may have heard about social distancing to keep safe from coronavirus, but what is it? Plus, restaurants around Flagstaff are starting to offer more vegan options for those looking to stick to their diet. The news starts now.
You're watching NAZ Today, Northern Arizona's local news.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Aaron Vidito.
And I'm Joy Johnson. Thanks for tuning in.
The World Health Organization has declared the coronavirus a pandemic, and as state officials have 3 more diagnosed cases of COVID-19 in the state of Arizona, Governor Doug Ducey has declared a public health emergency. Arizona State University President Michael Crow says all in-person classes, wherever possible, will transition to online instruction amid coronavirus concerns.
That's right, and at NAU, President Rita Chang has sent out an email stating that while several large campus events have been canceled this week, classes will not be affected, at least this week. And though it appears that none of the new confirmed cases are in Coconino County, several people have self-quarantined here while waiting tests. Health experts say one way to minimize the threat of the virus is through something called social distancing. NAZ Today's Quanah Arnold explains.
As hundreds of thousands of college students across the country go into their spring vacation, the threat of COVID-19 has never been on the minds of more Americans than it is now. Coconino County epidemiologist Matthew Maurer says social distancing is key to prevention.
Social distancing, staying home when you're sick, avoiding sick people altogether, and then those prevention messages that we say during flu season are really working in areas where we're seeing this COVID-19 spread.
With different organizations giving different measurements of distance to keep between yourself and others, it's hard to know exactly what social distancing means.
I think this is a good distance we're standing, but I think also it depends on the situation. So if someone's coughing on me, I'd probably distance myself a little more.
If I could, 6 feet, because I'm pretty sure that's how far like bacteria and things like that might be able to travel.
Some community members say social distancing isn't something to be concerned about.
No, I think it's very fear-based. Okay. And I don't buy into it.
I think it's more or less pointless. So if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it.
Even health experts around the world don't agree on the appropriate social distance. The CDC says 3 feet and the World Health Organization says 6. Here in Flagstaff, Maurer says 6 feet seems like a good amount of space.
For this COVID-19, we're talking about 6 feet is where that distance, that good distance to keep separated.
With Arizona now in a public health emergency, we can expect much more on this story in the coming days. Quanah Arnold, NAZ Today.
Eating healthy is one way to build up your immune system to resist the coronavirus and other illnesses. One major trend in recent years has been an increase in the number of people eating vegan diets. And as we hear from NAZ Today's Claire Sage, the trend is catching on here in Flagstaff.
Yes. A vegan diet excludes everything that can come from an animal and includes more plant-based proteins. For a town our size, Flagstaff has plenty of vegan options to offer.
National trends indicate that many people are choosing to eat less meat and dairy. Whether it be for the environment or body, Flagstaff has proved to be no exception.
Offering more vegan options brings in people who are currently really enjoying eating plant-based. And there's a lot more people who are enjoying eating plant-based today than there were 10 years ago.
As more nutritional information becomes available, people are becoming more careful about their diets.
A lot of people are becoming more aware of what they're eating. So there's been a period of time where there's been really industrialized food, and now people are starting to really care about what ingredients are in their food.
Flagstaff is seeing a growing demand for customers for new and exciting vegan options.
Customers are really savvy these days. They have the internet, they have everything to educate themselves about what trends are happening in the food service industry. And to stay relevant, you have to give customers what they demand.
Bianconi says that the plant-based diet can help resolve problems of food insecurity, energy conservation, and land scarcity. Something all growing businesses must now think about.
It's something that everybody needs to look at, especially as towns are growing and new businesses put pressure on the existing systems that we have.
Along with helping the environment, Geeta says veganism also aids sports performance.
Flagstaff also has a lot of athletes and has a lot of people who, train for marathons. And there's even a sports team, NAZ Elite, the elite running team in Flagstaff that we sponsor.
Geeta says eating more plant-based foods just makes sense.
So what is healthy for the environment and what's healthy for humans, it goes together. And I think that when we synchronize those together, that's when we can become our best selves.
If you're looking to find more vegan options, you don't have to go much farther than around the corner. Claire Sage, NAZ Today.
2 people have been arrested in the death of a New Mexico man whose body was found outside Heber last August. Coconino County Sheriff's deputies say Sean Eckerd and Jason Eric Johnson are being held in the homicide of Craig Kavanaugh. They face first-degree murder charges. Kavanaugh was reportedly missing after he didn't return from a trip to Arizona. His body was located in the woods outside Heber on August 5th.
Flagstaff police are asking for the public's help in identifying the person in this surveillance photo. He's suspected of stealing a laptop from a church service. It happened March 8th. The individual took the computer that was being used during a Sunday church service at the Orpheum Theater. If you have any information, contact Silent Witness for a possible cash reward. Every Wednesday, NAZ Today highlights a high school athlete who shows excellence on and off the field.
That's right, and this week we head to Flagstaff High School to meet a boys baseball star. NAZ Today's Mitchell McKenzie is in the studio to tell us more.
That's right, guys. Steven Canizales is an all-around athlete for the Flagstaff Eagles. Football in the fall and now heading into baseball in the spring. His teammates say he shows great athletic skills and is an amazing teammate. That's why Steven Canizales is this week's Prep Athlete of the Week. Steven Canizales is a senior on the Flagstaff Eagles boys baseball team. Varsity head coach Michael Dobosh says he's coached Canizales since he was young and his energy is high on and off the field.
I think he does a lot by just how he performs and how he plays. He plays with a high intensity, a lot of energy. So I think the kids see that, they want to emulate that, and that's probably his best attribute.
But it's a battle of the cousins, as the Canizales cousins are the 1 and 2 in the batting order for the Eagles. Luke says he has complete trust in Steven to get the job done on the field.
If I don't contribute or get on, then I feel like he can pick me up and start us and get us going if I don't end up getting on first.
But Steven says the push he gets to play baseball comes from his late grandfather, who was always there for him, and from his many discussions with his cousin Luke on how to improve.
Our grandfather pushed us the same way, no one got the higher advantage or anything. So when he passed away, we're on each other's case, just like, hey, if you're not doing this, we're going to tell each other about it, and I want the best out of him, and he probably wants the best out of me too.
Canizales says college baseball could be in his future, and Coach Dobosh is really looking forward to see what he can accomplish.
I was coaching him for the last 4 years. He's a special kid. I look forward to seeing what he does in the future for sure. So.
That's why Steven Canizales is this week's Prep Athlete of the Week. I want to thank Coach Dobosh, Luke, and of course Steven for speaking with me. And do you know an athlete we should recognize? You can tweet at me on Twitter at Mitch, NAZ Today. Mitchell McKenzie, NAZ Today.
Coming up, President Trump will address the nation tonight as the U.S. continues to see more coronavirus cases. Stay with us.
Good evening, Northern Arizona. I'm your student forecaster, Quana Arnold. If you're thinking about travel plans, you definitely want to stay ahead of that storm. Tonight, there's a low risk for travel. However, going into tomorrow, we will be seeing much higher precipitation, so that will be affecting your travel plans. I'll have more after the break. Stay.
The 2020 award-winning Chevrolet Equinox at Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac strikes the perfect balance between design and technology. From any angle, the sculpted exterior makes a stunning statement. With a spacious and refined interior, intuitive technology keeps you connected and entertained. Starting at just $22,995.
Hi, Mark Harris here. No pressure, no hype, just real hometown value. Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac at terrymarkson.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Does your family need a break from the daily routine?
Hello, I'm Dr.
Dr. Spruce. If you or someone you know needs a healthy dose of nature, visit discovertheforest.org and trade in the big screen for the big blue sky by visiting a local park or forest near you.
Hiking, picnicking, swimming, orienteering, climbing, admiring wildlife, or inhaling fresh air may result in heightened creativity, feelings of joy, harmony, satisfaction, and a euphoria that can only be explained as oneness with the natural world. Whoa.
Blackfoot, Navajo, Cree, Yakima, Aleut, Choctaw, Sioux, Pueblo, Inuit, Shoshone, Apache, Gila, Maquishit, Chippewa, Mohawk, Seminole, Creek, Ho-Chunk, Crow, Ojibwe, Cherokee. All American Indians and Alaska Natives, we need an accurate count for the 2020 census. It's important because this data informs the funding of resources and programs in our communities. Your response will affect the next generation.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. The coronavirus is not just a potential health threat, it's also affecting people's lifestyle.
That's right, concerts, conventions, and even Coachella have been either canceled or postponed. NAZ Today's Tori Smith reports.
The U.S. has just topped 1,000 cases of the novel coronavirus. And while that is still a relatively small number, it can be argued nearly everyone is affected by it.
This is new and unprecedented, certainly, in terms of the impact on our economy, as well as just how quickly this virus is spreading and how little we know about it.
The number of confirmed cases globally rises daily, and there's a ripple effect. Delta Airlines has expanded cleaning procedures. So has Target. It's increasing payroll hours in order to have more time spent cleaning stores. Ben & Jerry's annual Free Cone Day is being pushed back. Festivals and large-scale events like Coachella are canceled or postponed. Some businesses, including Google, are asking employees to work from home. And some tourists overseas are finding themselves in virtual ghost towns.
All the squares and the restaurants, it's just absolutely deserted. Nobody around. I feel for them. I feel that the Italians are really, really struggling.
While here at home, the White House is trying to promote a sense of calm.
We're prepared and we're doing a great job with it, and it will go away.
Health officials admit it will take time to get a better hold of the disease.
There's not enough people, there's not enough internal capacity, there's no surge capacity.
Tori Smith, NAZ Today.
President Trump is currently speaking about the coronavirus as the worldwide death toll reaches around 4,300.
King me.
This must be how Odell Beckham feels when he scores a game-winning touchdown.
Beckham scores! Giants touchdown!
This must be how Rico felt when he triple jumped Mr. Sanchez.
Pepsi.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the
Pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
I'm Rudy Tempesta. I'm 92 years old. I fought in World War II. Then I came home, worked for the post office for 70 years. I've been getting Meals on Wheels, and I enjoy it. The most important thing about Meals on Wheels is you meet the people, which to me is fantastic. You need people to keep your brain moving. That's what life is about. It's love and having a conversation with people.
Tonight's NAZ Today weather is brought to you in part by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff.
Good evening, Northern Arizona. I'm your student forecaster, Quana Arnold. Let's take a look at this flash flood watch. Now, the National Weather Service is predicting about 1 to 2.5 inches of precipitation. This will cause rises in rivers and streams and even flooding. Now, you definitely want to avoid any slot canyons, creeks, and drainages if you are planning on traveling, because we will be seeing much higher levels in water, so you definitely want to stay from any high-risk areas as much as possible. Now, it is important to note that there will be no threat to the fire scar from last summer's museum fire. There is little to no risk whatsoever for flooding for the duration of the storm, but you definitely want to hold on to those sandbags as we go into the 2020 monsoon season. Taking a look at Flagstaff currently, we have about temperature at 46 degrees, scattered showers, and definitely moderate cloud coverage, 93% relative humidity with those southwest winds going about 9 miles per hour. This is causing us to see some little bit lower temperatures. However, we still are above average with a high today of 50 degrees, a low of 34 degrees, and our overall precipitation today being at below 1 inch. But since the start of the new year, we have seen about over 2 inches of precipitation with our average this year, or average during this time of year, at over 5. Taking a look at our high temperatures across the state, we have Flagstaff over at 50 degrees, Payson 54, Page up at 60, and Las Vegas over at 68, and Phoenix down at 66 degrees. Now, this is a little bit unusual for Phoenix because last week they did see 80-degree temperatures, but now they are seeing much lower temperatures. Taking a look at our forecast for tonight, we have a forecast of 34 degrees, scattered showers before 11 p.m., so you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're traveling, and mostly cloudy skies with a sunset at 6:31. Taking a look at our temperature for tomorrow, we have a forecasted high of 54 degrees, scattered showers in the morning, and thunderstorms in the afternoon. So you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're traveling. We will be seeing much higher levels of precipitation going into tomorrow and the weekend. Definitely want to keep that in mind. Looking at our forecasted temperatures across the state, we have Sedona, 63 with a low of 47, Kingman, 67 with a low of 45, Lake Havasu, 74 with a low of 56, and Phoenix, a high of 73 with a low of 56 degrees. Phoenix today saw 60-degree temperatures, and tomorrow we do anticipate them to see around the 70 range, so that definitely is unusual because they will be going up and down. Taking a look at our Flagstaff extended forecast, 54 degrees for tomorrow, 42 degrees Friday, continuing that 40-degree range going into the weekend. Sunday will be a little bit of a bump, going at 52, but going back down going into next week. However, throughout going into the weekend, we will be seeing high levels of precipitation, a little bit of a break going into Sunday, but as the new week picks up, we will be seeing those precipitation levels coming back.
Definitely interesting weather for spring break.
Absolutely. We are seeing a lot of rainfall, and that is affecting our flood levels.
That's right. And a little bit of breaking news. President Trump had just announced that starting Friday, travel will be banned between the U.S. and Europe as coronavirus continues to spread.
And sports are not immune to coronavirus, isn't that right, Johnny?
Definitely not, Joey. Coming up, I will talk about the NAU men's and women's basketball and how they have fared in the Big Sky tournament, how the coronavirus has affected one particular March sporting event, and finally, a sporting event I covered, Phoenix, this past weekend. Stay tuned.
You have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
You. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. I'm your sports reporter, Johnny Crane. It is March, and you know what that means, folks. Basketball and madness. NAU men's basketball began their Big Sky Conference tournament run against the Idaho State Bengals this afternoon. Although interim head coach Shane Burkar helped net the Lumberjacks the most wins in a regular season since the 2014 to 2015 season, the Jacks were unable to cash in with another victory this afternoon as they lost to the Bengals 64-62. The Lumberjacks finished the season with a record of 16-14. Moving on to women's basketball, the Lumberjacks also began the Big Sky tournament yesterday. After struggling in the first quarter against the Montana Grizzlies, the Lumberjacks outscored the Grizzlies for the win 68-65. Head coach Lori Payne says the team clearly clicked.
Our team was just so poised, composed, mature down the stretch to be dialed in and locked into our defensive switches and our offensive execution, and we hit free throws at the end, and that's what wins games sometimes.
The Lumberjacks continued their conference tournament run today against the Montana State Bobcats. Unfortunately, though, the Lumberjacks would fall to the Bobcats 76-71. For the NCAA tournament, they'll unfortunately be affected by the coronavirus, as the empty arenas will be apparent for all tournament games. The NCAA made the news official today as President Mark Emmert said both men's and women's basketball tournaments would be played with only select officials there and select family members. After covering NASCAR 2 weeks ago at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, I went to cover it again, this time at Phoenix Raceway. With new downforce design on the cars, drivers have expressed their opinion on the different strategies needed to adapt. Number 14, Clint Boyer, says it's not a big thing.
But it really just doesn't feel a whole lot different. Fight the same old things. You know, I think that the track surface and the tire that we run out here is the biggest common denominator.
With the return of the low downforce package, Joey Logano was able to use aggressive passing maneuvers to rally from a mistake on pit road. The win marked his second victory on the year. Despite the win, however, Logano says he could have done much better throughout the race.
You know, I was able to get some stage points, but we weren't able to get out front and just check out. You know, when we got out front, I still had my hands full with the 4, just to be able to, we needed more long run is really what the biggest thing was here today, is a little bit more long run speed.
I'm going to be completely honest, I kind of stopped following NASCAR after Tony Stewart retired. So March Madness and it's all about March Madness and hockey. So you can imagine how disappointed I am about the coronavirus news.
Yeah, and it's so wild that March Madness isn't going to have, an audience this time around.
Yeah, one of the big tournament factors is the fan factor.
That's
no
right.
fans, how are you, the upsets and the big seeds, how will they fare with that?
Oh yeah, and that's how they get their energy. Yeah.
Precisely. Yep.
We'll have one last look at weather after the break. Stay with us.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
Live with a human for a while, and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never, for the life of me, know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Taking another look at that Flagstaff extended, we will be seeing much higher precipitations going into tomorrow and the weekend, but a little bit of a break on Sunday, but that is going to pick back up going into the next week.
I mean, personally, I am a fan of the rain, so I'm going to celebrate it. But Joy, it seems that we have another non-conventional day to celebrate, don't we?
We do have another non-conventional day to celebrate. Today is a day to celebrate an icon from American history. It's National Johnny Appleseed Day. He sounds like an urban legend, but he was actually a real person. Born John Chapman in 1774, he walked often barefoot across the nation and the frontier planting trees and pears. And here's a fun fact, guys. The apples he planted were actually too bitter to eat. Instead, they were used to make cider.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
More of a fan of the Cosmic Crisp apples myself.
And I like the Fuji, so.
Oh, yeah.
I love Honey Crisps, so.
Well, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on our website and on social media. Be kind to one another. Good night.